The first step in the test script is to have the user double click on the desktop icon, and after they double click on it, have it be that they're at the first screen, and then have the user click on the ... button to the right of the input data sets. The next step would be have them click on the ... button corresponding to the library, and then have the user specify the value library, which is predefined from the defaults prerequisites. After they select that, they can click on the back button, and then from the list of datasets, have the user select 3 datasets, DM and EX. Notice that have them select the transport datasets, and so DM, EX, and also MH. This is applied by holding down the control key. So when they hold down the control key and select the buttons, they will have multiple selections. And then after that, notice that the 3 are selected here. Have the user select all 3 and then click on the edit button. Now in the edit button screen, well, actually part of the prerequisites is they already done this, so I didn't do that in this case, but the info should have already been done. But when they click on the edit button, have the user bring the user to the edit screen, I think is the next one. So the first time they do it, it takes a second to capture the metadata. The instruction doesn't have to detail it, the instruction just has to say that it then goes to the edit definition screen. The next step in the instruction is to have the user click on drag it to the right here until they get to a column named value metadata. So right now, as you can see, make the instruction scroll the user to the right until they see the value metadata. Then have the user select on a data value, such as race, for example. In that case, the user will select on the entry and then have the user click on the ... button here, and then all these options are available, but then have them just leave the default yes and click on OK. Okay, this is an error, but actually as part of the test script, just make sure that they type in the value yes, and then click OK. So now that, make sure they make a note of that variable. In this case, it's the race. Now the next step is to then click on the generate button, but make sure that the user type in the word DEFINE.XML. You don't have to specify the path location, just as long as they type in DEFINE.XML. So it could be something like this, just DEFINE.XML, and then in the output file, and then click on the generate button. Now in this case, it will generate an example output. So have the user verify in the test script that the DEFINE.XML file is created. Now if they need to verify is to scroll down to the location where that race variable was. So in this example, they scroll down to race, and one of the first verification to see if there's a hyperlink in that variable, and then when they click on it, it goes down to the value level metadata. In this case, it shows the the values being black, other, and white. So part of the verification test is to make the user note these values, and then go back to the main screen and select on DM, and then click on preview to verify if those values are the same. So in this case, have the user review the race column, which is here, and then verify that these values here corresponds with the 3 values in the level value metadata, which is this one here. So once that's verified that these values corresponds to the values here, then the test is complete and passed. So so that's the complete test for this first part.